out of sight here, almost loses his life. It's Kanto going down elsewhere. Spoit dead to Doki through the soft wall, and that's the kind of turnaround they were looking for.
Absolutely disgusting kill from Doki. Leon manages to find an Alder shot onto Virtue, leaving us now in a 2v2. Doki on the Twitch, less than half health. So that's something that needs to be considered here. There's an absolute age left on the clock. This has just been a brawl over getting into the map at this point. That's going to be the wrong type of canister there. It's going to be one of the stun grenades that comes out from Alamo, which is just going to bounce back off the door rather than taking the barricade out. But access has now been gained through that archives door. Leon just holding a skinny angle here, a couple of pixels wide there, through in towards that fountain door, just daring G2 to push in.
Darren's pushing to go for the plant. They've gone straight in onto the default plant spot, but do they know about the long angle? Oh, he pokeballs him at range! That's one way to pull it off. Crying with a second shutdown as well. Rogue! I didn't expect that, but they managed to pull the round out of the bag. Oh, indeed, but I'm a little bit nervous about the clock here ticking down. Sure, it's a 4 versus 4, but they're still getting themselves set up on the vertical. Blur almost finding Leon, who I don't think was fully aware exactly where he's being shot from there for a full couple of seconds, but still alive at least for now. It's Alamau to bring down Spoit 2. G2 in the lead, at least for now.
They could really do with getting this round. They don't want to get themselves too far behind. And, you know, as we sort of touched on briefly on the analyst desk, we're going to be expecting the attackers to have a good section of play here. Doki manages to find Leon, shuts him down. That gives access in through Workshop towards site. Deepek's going to be holding on. We know Deepek has got a huge clutch factor. Out goes the Nitro! Puts the diffuser down cold on the ground. And Crying, he gets a kill at the same time onto Virtue. 5 seconds left to go. This is possible here. But no, Alamo comes in with a big double. Manages to shut down Rogue, and G2 level things up 1-1.
If he ain't making his bed, at least he's making rounds in the game. Cross and get over towards Doki, but it's so risky. If he goes down, they're screwed.
Doki just creeping around at the minute, and you feel like there's a potential for him to find a kill. Nade goes out, unsuccessful. Doki takes damage, but Blur gets into the spot that they needed. It's not covered, but he gets spooked as and he comes off the plant. He's going to go back to it, but that's given them the time. Deepek able to get that one, and Doki manages to find Spoit 2v2. 16 seconds left to go. Diffuser is down though. G2 haven't been able to recover it until now. It's going to be all up to Doki. He's going to try and stick this, Des.
Can he clutch it out as well? Deepek's on the drop here as well, looking to come in for the kill. If Doki comes off now, he's pretty much screwed. Comes off after the plant, and they get the final shutdown. I think, if nothing else, Tim, that round is a perfect showcase for the power of vertical play.
Absolutely. As I said, coming into the round, you can't ignore the top floor. I thoroughly expected G2 to come in with a strong push onto top. Rogue all the info they need. Look at the tight angle that's being held. Spoit decides to take a run for it, but Doki's there. Manages to get him shot in the head as he goes in. He gets himself a second onto Deepek. That is great entry play from Doki. 5 versus 3.
There goes to show, even with all the info, you can still lose your gunfights. Now Crying stepped up, playing on the back of the shield, but Alamau's got the second. It looks to be a shutout for G2. Kanto finding one back. He's getting busy on the cap can. Let's see what else he can achieve as it comes down to him and Crying to hold off against 4. They find 1.
Ryan, he's going to try to push his way back in through Fountain here. Rotations are allowing him to do so. Blur, he goes into a frost trap, leaving us now effectively 2v2, Des. If G2 do not win this round, they've thrown it away. Doki gave them such a strong foundation, but Rogue have been able to fight their way back in. Ryan's surely going to get his man. He manages to get a spray down. Virtue low health now, 2v2 as Blur gets finished off. 10 seconds left to go. G2, they got to make a move. They got to make something happen. It's Citizen. We know he's capable, but Crying with a big double Nitro is gonna close out the round. 3-1 Rogue. Alamau looking for the long angle onto East Stairs. Doesn't manage to find his man. And once again, Des, Rogue have been able to reel G2 back in. It's now 4 versus 3, 4 versus 2. As Deepak manages to find Blur, shuts him down, Crying onto Citizen. And Rogue are starting to run away with this one. Almost certainly going to be 4-1 here. As Alamau, he's got 30 seconds to make something happen, but he's got an absolute miracle to find.
He has 4 players by himself with 20 seconds on the clock. I don't think Rogue are that silly to also send every player peeking for him just to get the final closeout and pad those stats a little bit. Crying sat at 8-2 so far, so having an absolute field day. And Alamau tries he might, cannot find Leon. Moving up 4-1 on the defense, Rogue.
It's a great start from them.
At least this time they're trying to challenge onto the lateral upstairs, but Kanto is still lurking around behind them. Blur's found one, Citizen a second. Those are the kind of kills that you need, and Citizen's inside of sight. Rogue have got absolutely no idea. Kanto, the last one left standing, finds one man and gets him down as well, but there's still 3 more to go through in 45 seconds.
And he's low health. Citizen cuts him down, and that is going to be the round for G2. And it was a much better round from G2, I'd like to say. Certainly going to be finished off, not likely to be collected. He's out in the cold.
Room and he's waiting to die.
It's a different kind of waiting room for him right now. That was unfortunate. Deepek just missing the shot from the Twitch drone, and it was the last one. They're going to need the recharge on it, but Cryan will go in and get the kill. 4v2 as Rogue, they come in strong on the attack.
They do. Very solid start so far, but there are still 2 left alive, and you know what that means? You can't write them off. Think about Rogue in that 2v5 back in the first half. Very plausible that Citizen and Virtue, the old school duo before Doki joined this roster, might be able to pull off some magic. And scarily enough, they're in a very similar spot to what Rogue were. Almost finishing off Leon, but he finds a triple in the round. Down goes his nemesis in Citizen, and Virtue is left standing against the full weight of Rogue. 4 players bearing down on him, getting zapped out by shock drones, you name it. It's not looking pretty.
The last man standing, you can see him just battling every angle. The Twitch drone knows exactly where he is, and right now Rogue, they just need to get in and get that diffuser down. That's exactly the focus for Leon as he starts putting the case down. Couple of seconds left to go. It will be confirmed. The kill will almost certainly come in very quickly afterwards. It's Spoit who finds it, but if it wasn't him, there were a number of Rogue players just pressing down upon that position. Drop away down the hatch, but here comes the flank.
Cryan's in a good spot, watching the flank there, has got it written down perfectly. One more down low, taking a few more shots here, down about 40 HP, as another Juice comes in and finds the man as well. That's the kind of play you're looking for, disrupting the potential flank coming out of G2. Rogue, once again in a 4 versus 2, feels like they might be able to take this one as well, Tim.
It certainly does. I've got to say, Rogue just feel clinical today.
That's it.
You know, I said that they've not necessarily shown consistency as well as they have done previously so far in Stage 3, but they are just back with a bang tonight. They're absolutely all over G2. Every flank is watched, every gunfight is won, shooting players in the back. They're just superior in position, in strategy, in gunfights. They are superior in every category right now. G2 unable to get anything going tonight. Citizen's doing exactly that. He's trying to get himself involved in one of those long-range fights there, but it's always going to be difficult with the UMP as well. Not the best gun in the game, as we know. Deepek manages to close down and shut out Alamo, leaving us now in a 4v2.
I just love the use of the Kali here as well, like why? But it's working. He's found himself a kill. Kanto's into the next, and Citizen left standing all alone, and the Pulse could only do so much. Looks to be like for G2 that this musical statues game has come to an end. He gets shut down, and Rogue take a very decisive 7-2 win.